Instagram just revealed exactly how they rank story content in this huge new update they just posted to their blog. Now, this section covered both feed posts and stories. However, in this video, I'll be picking out just stuff relevant to stories so you can get the best understanding of how to better increase your story views, ranking, and reach. Now, I made a full video reviewing this entire article on my channel, but today I just wanted to deep dive specifically on stories and go a bit more in depth into the specifics of ranking your stories better. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and drop a like. I post 2 videos like this every single week teaching you Instagram marketing after I gained a ton of accounts, collectively millions of followers. Firstly, I'm going to walk you through the process of the algorithm, and then we will dive into how to improve your rankings. Now, as with any algorithm, there are a couple of different phases. First, we have candidate generation. Now, this is where Instagram look at the certain constraints and collect up all of the content they could show to a user, and they put this in a big pile ready to rank from best to worst to then show a user. In this situation, candidate generation is simple. Instagram simply create a big pile of Instagram stories posted by people that you follow. Now, the second phase is known as ranking. This is where they then rank that content that they've collected up from best to worst based on a handful of different signals to then be able to show you, so that in an ideal world, the front of your Instagram stories, the ones that you are most likely to see, is the content you are most likely to enjoy. So you then consume it, you spend more time on the platform, and Instagram are happy, you are happy, the creators are happy, everyone wins. And then the third phase is called rendering, where they simply show this content to you. So they collect all of the content, they rank all of the content, and then they put it into your feed, your stories feed, etc. Now, the only real part you need to focus on here is the second phase, which is the ranking of this content, so that you can look at what signals you need to rely on to improve your ranking in the system. You can't really change rendering because that's just simply putting into place the actions of the ranking. And you can't really change the first part because that's just people collecting all the data. So the main part to focus on here is looking at the signals to improve your ranking so that you can show up higher in your followers feed, receive more story views, get more engagement, and then that's going to help you grow your audience in the long run, because people will see your brand more often, they will build a stronger connection with you, and that's all around going to help you with both growth and monetization. And this all comes down to signals. Essentially, they are the way that people react to your content, and then Instagram track those reactions to justify how much they enjoy your content, to then whether they should show it to them in future more or less. Now, there are literally thousands of these signals. However, when it comes to stories specifically, there are 2 really important ones that Instagram talked about. Now, the first signal that they take into account when ranking stories is information about the story itself. Now, when it comes to stories, the main information they are looking at is how recent is this story. The more recent it is, the further forward they push it in the feed. Another piece of information they look at is the engagement on the story. So for example, if you include a story poll on your story and people vote on it a lot more than usual, they will see that as a positive indication and they will push it out to more people and they will rank it higher. This also means if you get a lot of story replies, or you use a question sticker and get a lot of people voting on it, or you post a video and people watch the video the whole way through instead of skipping forward on it, or they watch it, they go back, they watch it again. These sort of little indications that show Instagram people are enjoying the content. That is the first thing they look at as to how high they rank this content. Now, the second major signal they look at is information about the person who posted, and more specifically, the relationship the user has with that person. Basically, this is where Instagram look at a person's account and work out, based on a ton of different social signals, how much that person likes your account, and then ranks your content in their feed accordingly. So if we step back from being a creator and take a look at this from a user's point of view, if you follow 200 people and 100 of them have posted stories, Instagram will then work out which of those accounts you like the most and which of those accounts you like the least, and they will likely rank it from favorite account to least favorite account and every single one in between. And then this will be one of the major factors when ranking stories. So for example, if your number one favorite account posted a highly engaging story that people reacted to well, that is going to rank number one. And then maybe the second spot might be a piece of content that wasn't very engaging, but it came from your second favorite account. And then the third spot in your stories might come from an account you don't really engage with that much, but their recent story was extremely engaging based on the responses from other people. And so you sort of get where I'm going here. It's made up of a combination of these two things, as well as a ton of smaller ones, but these are the main two. Now, this second signal of how well a user likes your account is not specifically about stories, but more about your account as a whole. If you improve the quality of the relationship between you and your audience, your stories and feed posts will get ranked higher in their feed, receive more engagement, and get pushed out to more people, both who are following you and who aren't. One great way to do this is to make sure you always engage back with your audience and spark conversations, whether this be in the comment section or in the DMs. The more back and forth with your audience, the more signals that sends to Instagram, as well as the better the relationship you have with your true fans and followers, and therefore the higher you're going to rank in their feeds according to this social signal. Now, as mentioned, based on how well your content performs on these two main factors will determine where you rank in someone's Instagram story. And obviously the higher you rank in their feed, the more views you'll get from people, because people may usually watch, let's say, their first 10 or 20 stories, and then maybe after that they're done, and occasionally they'll watch all of them if they're really bored. But in a general sense, if you're not ranking towards the top, your content may not be seen, which is the whole point for this algorithm. If people are only going to look at 20 or 30% of these stories, Instagram want to show the most interesting or most enjoyable 20 to 30% of stories. Now, the more positive these factors, the more reach you'll get on your content. The more negative these factors are, so people not engaging with your content or people who aren't really interested in your profile, the less reach you will get. So in this case, based off this new information from Instagram, the main two things you can do to improve your rankings is, firstly, creating more engaging stories. So create stories that people watch, consume, click back, and then watch again. Create stories that people reply to, create stories that people vote on, a story poll, a story quiz, a slider where people can react to it, and so on. As well as improving the relationship with your audience, which generally just comes down to better relating to them, better serving them with interesting content, and going above and beyond. If you nail those two things, not only will your stories rank higher, but so will your feed content. Now, Instagram has said that in the past they have limited the reach of stories who are sharing other people's content as opposed to creating content on stories. The reason behind this is they said that people prefer consuming content from stories that are created. So if you take a photo and post it, people prefer that compared to you sharing someone else's post. However, this is supposedly no longer the case, as they wanted to make sure that posts that were sharing social issues or current events were not limited in reach. However, in general, I would say leaning towards creating more original content on your stories is always going to be beneficial. Now, the final part of the story algorithm is what's known as the penalty algorithm. Instagram recently stated this: we always want to lean towards letting people express themselves, but when someone posts something that may jeopardize another person's safety, we step in. We have community guidelines that apply not only to feed and stories, but to all of Instagram. Most of these rules are focused on keeping people safe. If you post something that goes against our community guidelines and we find it, we take it down. If this happens repeatedly, we may prevent you from sharing, and eventually we might suspend your account. They followed it up with this. Another important case to call out is misinformation. If you post something that third-party fact checkers label as misinformation, we don't take it down, but we do apply a label and show the post lower in feed and stories. If you've posted misinformation multiple times, we may make all of your content harder to find. So, read through the terms of service, don't break the terms of service, and don't post absolute waffle or things that could be deemed as wrong, misinformation, etc. And that there is a bunch of new information on how the Instagram story algorithm works. Focus on improving the response from your audience whilst not breaking terms of service, and you'll improve your rankings over time, increasing your reach, improving your engagement, and bettering your growth in the process. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more information like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you want some more in-depth Instagram marketing, growth, and monetization strategies to help you build a profitable Instagram following, you can grab my Instagram crash course and ebook down in the top link of the description for only $9. That's it from me. Hope this video helped, and I will see you all next time. Cheers.